So I've loosened the screw off and then tightened it up. In the moment you can see it's here, the actual driver is there and the actual shaft driver is there. Now I can go, if I go backwards I can move it and then the crank draws it backwards. It's not the way it normally goes, I know, but what you're going to hear now is you can see the machine moving. It won't go any farther. What has happened, the shaft has gone over to the left hand side behind the motor and it's jammed up against the casting. Won't go anywhere else. So if you go forward, the same thing happens. So what that means is this driver shaft with the rack has been moved over too far to the left. So consequently you won't see much of the rack coming through. But if you look here, you can see the rack. There it is, backwards and forwards. You can just see it peeking through as I do that, but it's not by a long way. It needs to come right over to the, if I get a screwdriver to show you that, it needs to come at least over here. You don't want to hit the plastic, otherwise it will come off the gear as it comes back, and that's as far as it will go now. So I'm just going to reset it so that it will actually drive again properly. So we're going to loosen off the screw again and we're going to move the shaft, if we're lucky. So we'll tighten it up and just move it forward again and then stop it, loosen that screw again, and hopefully, there we go, I'm holding it now, so that's stopped the shaft, the rack shaft coming back to the left, and I can screw this screw up again, and that should, there we go, you see what I'm talking about? This rack now has got almost to the end, right here, it's almost to the end. You can see a lot more rack. It seemed a long-winded way of telling you this, but it's something that happens a lot with people. Just get a little bit carried away when they loosen off this piece here, and they forget the fact that this shaft can also move. Even though you've loosened it off, it has some grip, so it will take the shaft back. You tighten it up, and when you do the final setting, you realise that the shaft is actually hitting the side of the machine. So that's really about it. It is that simple. It's normal. If you loosen off the screw here, this one here, it's a tricky one to get into, but if you do loosen it off, make sure that you do realign and make sure that it's not binding here. I'm doing it back up again, it's not binding, it's pretty secure. And remember that this is plastic and it has got a tendency to decay if you use oil on it. So there we go. So I'm going to put the shuttle driver back in again in an approximate position, right where, stop now.